param shushrušanam mahyam syat praja rakshaya nripa bhagavamste prajabartur ऋषिकेशो नुतुष्यति. Param, the greatest. Shushushanam, devotional service. Mahyam, unto me. Syat, should be. Praja, the living entities born in the material world. Rakshaya, by saving them from being spoiled. Nripa, O King. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Te, with you. Prajabartuhu, with the proprietor, with the protector of the living beings. Hrishikeshaha, the Lord of the senses. Anutushyati, is satisfied. Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. O King, if you can give proper protection to the living beings in the material world, that will be the best service for me. When the Supreme Lord sees you to be a good protector of the conditioned souls, certainly the master of the senses will be pleased with you. Please repeat the translation. O King, if you can give proper protection to the living beings in the material world, that will be the best service for me. When the Supreme Lord sees you to be a good protector of the conditioned souls, certainly the master of the senses will be very pleased with you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The whole administrative system is arranged for the purpose of going back home, back to Godhead. Brahma is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Manu is the representative of Brahma. Similarly, all other kings on different planets of the universe are representatives of Manu. The law book for the entire human society is the Manu Samhita, which directs all activities towards a transcendental service of the Lord. Every king, therefore, must know that his responsibility in administration is not merely to exact taxes from the citizens, but to see personally that the citizens under him are being trained in Vishnu worship. Everyone must be educated in Vishnu worship and engaged in the devotional service of Hrishikesha, the owner of the senses. The conditioned souls are meant not to satisfy their material senses, but to satisfy the senses of Hrishikesha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the purpose of the complete administrative system. One who knows this secret, as disclosed here in the version of Brahma, is the perfect administrative head. One who does not know this is a show bottle administrator. By training the citizens in the devotional service of the Lord, the head of a state can be free in his responsibility. Otherwise, he will fail in the onerous duty entrusted to him and thus be punishable by the supreme authority. There is no other alternative in the discharge of administrative duty. That's the Bhaktivedanta purpose. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamy Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So Lord Brahma is instructing Manu on the specific duties as an emperor or an in charge of the entire planet. Saying Param Sushrushanam Mahyam. This is the greatest service. Param Sushrushanam. Sushrushanam word is defined here as devotional service. So this is Param Sushrushanam Mahyam. This is the greatest devotional service to me. Syat Praja Rakshaya Nripa. Oh my dear king, Praja Rakshaya, to give protection to the people. Bhagavamste Praja Bhartuhu. Because when Bhagavan, when he sees that you are a proper protector of the citizens, Bhagavanste Praja Bhartuhu, Hrishikesho Anutushyati. The Lord becomes very pleased with you, very satisfied with you. So in the purport, Prabhupada explains about the concept of Manu samhuta, which is the basis for every living entity in this material world, how to lead this life in this material world. The law book for the entire human society is the Manu samhuta, which directs all activities towards transcendental service of the Lord. So this is the basic law book. So how it is defined? So that everybody engages in worship, devotional service. Every king must know that his responsibility in administration is not merely to exact taxes from the citizens, but to see personally that the citizens under him are being trained in Vaishnava worship. See that everybody performs their respective duties and are engaged in devotional service. This is the proper intention of this is a proper duty of every king. Then Prabhupada further explains what is the purpose of complete administrative system. King means his administrative system. He is not alone. The conditioned souls are not meant to satisfy their senses, individual senses, but to satisfy the senses of Rishikesha, the master of the senses. So one who knows this specific secret, as explained by Brahma, becomes the perfect administrative head. To see that every citizen in his country engages in the service of the Lord, if he is able to execute that task, he becomes the perfect executor. So by training the citizens in devotional service to the Lord, the head of a state can discharge his responsibility. See, everybody has a duty. If they do not perform their duty properly, they are punished. They are liable for punishment. Similarly, if the king has not performed his duty, he is liable for punishment. Otherwise, if he will fail in the onerous duty entrusted to him, thus be punishable by the supreme authority. Like in a simple, anywhere in our office or anything, if we don't do our duty, what is the punishment? One time, two time excuse, later we may be asked to go away from the company or an underperformer. So everywhere this performance factor is evaluated. So in every category of living entity, when the duty is prescribed, the performance factor is evaluated. Now first let us understand what are the duties of a king. Based on Prabhupada, then from Manu Samhita. So Prabhupada says, as a representative of the Supreme Lord, king is called as Naradevata. He is a Supreme Lord who has come as a king. In 10th chapter also, when Krishna says, Naranam cha Naradipam, among men I am monarch, Krishna says. So king is a representative of the Supreme Lord. The king has the duty to protect the citizens in a perfect way so that they would not be anxious for food and protection. and so that they would be jubilant. So the basic duty is roti, kapda, makan. ये सबको मिलने का. That's a government duty. So that when they are satisfied, they can do devotional service. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithunam. So these are the four basic things. Ahara, nidra, bhaya. Protection. And it is the duty of the king to see that these things are available for everyone. Next. It is the duty of a king to give protection to the citizens and fulfill their desires. At the same time, the citizens must also obey to the laws of the state. See, fulfill their desires means people can ask anything and everything. No. Within the jurisdiction. And they also have to fulfill the desire, follow the laws of the state. I don't follow, I want everything means it will not happen. It has to be a two-way system. You follow the rules and government will facilitate everything what is required for your requirement, for your day-to-day requirement, necessities. Then, it is a duty of a king to see that everyone in all social orders, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, is fully employed in the state. So everybody gets a proper employment as per his qualification. So a Brahmana is supposed to do a Brahmana's duty only. So everybody does their respective duties. That is one of the duty of the king, to see that everybody are properly engaged. It is the duty of a king to give protection to everyone, including the earth or the land in which he is ruling, as well as the citizens and his family members. Because he has to give protection to his own land, then to citizens, to his family members, to all living entities within that land. So when the miscreants are punished in an exemplary manner, when somebody does a mistake, the king punishes him. If somebody does a pickpocketing, you know what is a Vedic punishment? Cut off his hand. So that one he doesn't do, by seeing the severe punishment, others don't do. So one is set an example so that others will follow. Automatically all good fortune follows. It is the prime duty of a king to give protection in all respects to the peaceful, offenseless citizens of the state. So if you are a peaceful, offenseless citizen, it is the duty of the king to give protection. But if you are a miscreant, it is the duty of a king to punish you. So now details from Manu Samhita. Some aspects I had covered. So when there are creatures without a king, like when the material world was created, it seems, all living entities were there, but there was no head to manage them. And they all, because of fear, they started running in all directions. Lord created a king for the protection of this whole creation. Because there was no proper protection, then Lord created the king. And who is this king? He is representative of all administrative demigods. In his body, it is said all the demigods stay. Indra, Vayu, Yama, Surya, Agni, Varuna, Moon and Kubera. These 8 administrative demigods who are in charge of the 8 directions. 8 important aspects. They reside within the body of the king. And because he is he is empowered by these 8 personalities, that's why he is like a Superman. All are men, he is Superman. Like generally Prabhupada says, everybody thinks everybody is God. Okay, but Krishna is Godhead. Everybody is God, but he is Godhead. So simply he is also a Superman, because he has been empowered by all these personalities. And for the king's sake, the Lord formerly created his own son, punishment, as the protector of all creatures. He is an incarnation of law, formed by Brahman's glory. So, punishment is an incarnation of law, who is representative of the Lord's Son in this material world. Punishment governs all created beings. Punishment alone protects them. Punishment watches over them while they sleep. The wise declare punishment to be identical with the law. We do a mistake, can we sleep peacefully? We are fearful. Somebody will identify. Somebody will get to know. Someday I will be punished. Either may not that verbally, but that anxiety will always be running behind. If punishment is properly inflicted after due consideration, it makes all people happy. But inflicted without consideration, it destroys everything. So how do you administer punishment? You have to properly hear all parties concerned, and you have to give all considerate conclusions based on their hearings. So then everybody is satisfied, and that is a proper way of punishment being administered. You hear one side and you try to come to a conclusion, then it destroys the system. People lose faith in the system. Then they declare that the king to be just inflictor of punishment, who is truthful, who acts after due consideration, who is wise, and who knows the respective value of virtue, pleasure, and wealth. The king should be equipped with all these qualities, it seems. He should be very truthful, who acts after due consideration, he deliberates about the subject. He is wise, he knows the respective value of virtue, pleasure, and wealth. A king who properly inflicts punishment prospers with respect to three means of happiness. But he who is voluptuous, partial, and deceitful will be destroyed even through the unjust punishment which he inflicts. If I properly punish a person, I will enjoy in this material world. If I improperly punish a person, I will be put down in this material world. So what is his proper conduct? It is said he should be humble enough. Humility should be his basic principle. He should avoid vice. Vice means bad people, ill people. So the 10 kinds of vice which come out of love, and 8 things which come out of anger. When you love somebody, if he does a mistake, we overcome. Because he is our beloved person, a small बच्चा है, मेरा सामने पैदा हुआ है, छोटा mistake कर दिया, छोड़ दो. So out of love, the 10 things he has to be very careful, and out of anger, 8 things he has to be very careful. So who is attached to the vices springing out of love of pleasure loses his wealth and his virtue, but he who is given to those arising from anger loses even his life. Out of love you do mistake, all your qualities are gone. But out of anger you will do a mistake, even you may lose your own life. So the 10 aspects of love are hunting, gambling, sleeping by day, censoriousness, excessive engagement with women, drunkardness, dancing, singing, and music. which are not an inordinate love, which are not authorized thing. Useless travel are the tenfold set of vices which spring out of love of pleasure. Then out of wrath, that are produced by wrath, tale-bearing, violence, treachery, envy, slandering, unjust siege of property, reveling and assault are the 8 set of vices produced out of wrath. Anger. If you become angry on somebody, you would like to take away his entities, you would like to harm him, you would like to cheat him, you would like to put him down. So these are the things. So when you are in love with somebody, it can cause us towards drinking, dice, woman and hunting. These are the most pernicious that springs from the love of pleasure. Then doing bodily injury, revealing and seizure of property. These 3 must be known as most perilous in the set produced by wrath. So these are the most prominent one in wrath. The other one is most prominent one in love. Then the king has to properly select his set of ministers. So how many ministers he should have? Unlimited? Everybody a minister? The Shastra says 7 to 8 people should be his ministers. And who are these people? Whose ancestors have been royal servants, who are versed up in all the sciences. They are heroes skilled in use of weapons and descended from noble families and who have been tried. So not that anybody and everybody can become a minister. There are certain qualifications. In that, the best of the lot should be your prime minister. So in a systematic way, how Manu Samhita, like I think 4 chapters were dedicated for this perspective. Still another 8 to 10 chapters were there about whom to collect taxes, how the punishment should happen. So it becomes a too philosophical subject. I am not entering into that one. So now in Bhagavatam itself we get certain instructions from Lord himself to Prithu Maharaj. When Prithu Maharaj had organized a sacrifice, Lord personally appeared there. And Lord gave these instructions because Prithu Maharaj was the emperor of this whole world. How he has to do his specific duty was enumerated by Lord Vishnu to Prithu Maharaj. He says, Samaha samanottama madhyama adamaha sukecha dukkecha jitendriya asayaha Maya upaklupta akila loka samyuto vidatsva veera akila loka rakshana. There are 4 instructions given to Prithu Maharaj by the Lord in this verse here. First thing is samaha, keep yourself equipoised. Then samanaha, treat your people equally. Samaha, samanaha. Then Jita Indra Asayaha, control your mind and senses. Then Vidatsva Akila Loka Rakshanam, give protection to the citizens of your kingdom. These are the 4 instructions given in this verse. Next. Shreya prajah palanam eva rajyo yat samparaye sukrutat sashtam amsham harta anyata hrita punyam prajanam arakshita karaharo agam atti. So now Vishnu is saying, why should you protect your citizens? Because in the last instruction it is said, you have to protect your citizens, the last instruction. Now why you should protect your citizens? Shreyaha prajapalanam eva rajnyaha. It's the duty of the king to give protection, shreyaha, to see their welfare. Auspiciousness comes to prajapalanam. When you are following your duty of protecting the citizens, everything should be auspicious or encouraging for them in their prescribed occupational duties. Yat samparaye sukrutat shashtam amsham. If you do your duty properly, when people are very satisfied, their 1/6 of their punya comes to you. The entire citizens, 1/6 punya comes to you. But anyata harta karaharaha. But a king who simply collect taxes from the citizens, but prajanam arakshita, he will leave the children or he will leave the citizens arakshita, doesn't bother for their protection. Krita punyaha, his own punya is lost. And agamatti, he becomes liable to punishment for the impious activities of his subjects. Not only you, whatever sinful actions I perform, I have to suffer for that, and whatever the sinful activities the people perform, I have to suffer for it. You maintain all good, everybody does nicely, their punya comes to you, but if they perform sinful activities, their papa comes to you. Because it is the duty of the master to see that his servant is properly engaged. So generally people if they want to engage in devotional service, so people think engaging in devotional service means like completely detachment in this material world. You become indifferent to this material world. This is what Arjuna was also thinking. Yoga means, he is saying, that is a different thing. I have to quit everything, go to the forest, engage in meditation. But Lord's intention is doing your specific duty, but without becoming attached to it. He gave an example, Padma Patram Ivambasa. Like a lotus in the water, both are unconnected. Even though the lotus may be within the water, on the lotus leaf, but they are not connected. You do your duty, but do not become attached to any of these perspectives. So Lord Vishnu advised Maharaj Prithu that a king is not enjoined to give up his kingdom and the responsibility of protecting his citizens and instead go away to Himalayas for liberation. He can attain liberation by executing his royal duties. And for this, Lord Krishna gave an example of, who is that king? Janaka Maharaj. Janakadeha, in 3rd chapter, 20th sloka, Krishna says, the great kings like Janaka had executed their duties and achieved perfection. The king's real duty is to see that everybody becomes Krishna conscious, means completely free from all sinful activities. If the king looks after the spiritual interests of the citizens, he can levy taxes without any difficulty. In this way, both the king and the subjects will be happy during this life, and in the next life, the king will be able to share 1/6 of their pious activities of the citizens. Or else he had to suffer for the sinful activities of his life. And finally, Lord Vishnu concludes by saying, Evam dvija agriya anumata anuvritya dharma pradano anyatamo avitashayaha rashvena kalena gruhopayatan drastasi siddhan anurakta loka. So, asya avita, if you protect your citizens, as per my instruction, evam dvija agriya anumata, and as directed by dvija, the brahmanas, agriya, the elderly people, the learned people, anumata, based on their instructions, based on their guidance, and anuvritya, and as knowledge that is received in disciplic succession. Dharma pradanaha, if you follow the religious principles as laid down by them, by all the acharyas. And anyatamaha, without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoction. Rashvena kalena gruha upayan, you will be very able to see very soon. Drastasi siddhan, liberated personalities, has 4 Kumar. So like Vyasadeva, Parashara, they have given this direction for how a king has to lead his country. There are Artha Shastras, there are Niti Shastras, there are various scriptures. So people have to abide by the systems, and the king has to see that systems are executed properly. So then one more word was there in this translation which says, Lord becomes pleased. So when does Lord become pleased? Any activity we do and Krishna becomes pleased? So when can Krishna become pleased? So Prahlad Maharaj, while teaching to his friends, all his sons of these are all the sons of Asuras, his classmates. He says, Nalam dvijatvam devatvam rishitvam vasurajatmaha prinanaya mukundasya na vrittim na bahujnata na danam na tapo na ijya na sauchyam na vratanicha priyate amalaya bhaktya harir anyad vidambanam. Says, na alam dvijatvam, not by just being a Brahmana, devatvam, or the principles of the demigods, rishitvam, or becoming a rishi, asuratmajaha, oh my dear sons of the demons, asuras, prinanaya mukundasya, mukunda can be satisfied, prinanaya, mukunda becomes pleased, na prinanaya, na vrittim na bahujnataha, but just by doing your duty, or learning all the books, na bahujnataha. In all these things, the Lord is never pleased. Neither na dhanam, na tapaha, na ijyaha. Just by doing dhanam, Lord is not satisfied. By doing austerity, Lord is not satisfied. By engaging in service, Lord is not satisfied. Na ijyaha, by worshipping Him. Na sauchyam, na vratanicha. Na sauchyam, like just by doing, by cleanliness. Na vratanicha, taking some vows. People take different vows. In a week I will not eat. On Monday, on some days I will not eat. So like that, some you take your independent vows, some certain vows. So Lord doesn't become satisfied. Priyate amalaya bhaktya. The Lord becomes when that bhakti is amalaha, completely pure, unalloyed devotional service, unconditional bhakti. When we do, Lord becomes pleased. Harir anyad vidambanam. So without sincere devotional service, everything is simply a show. Harir anyad vidambanam. So similarly, one more place Krishna also says in Uddhava Gita, Shushva Purani Vividani Ajayatma Shaktya Vrikshan Sarispruha Pashun Kaga Danda Shukan Tester Atushta Hrudayaha Purusham Vidaya Brahmavaloka Dishanam Mudam Apadeva. He is saying, Ajaya Atma Shaktiya. The Lord created this Maya in such a way, it is His Atma Shaktiya, it's His own potency. Shushva Vividani Purani. He created innumerable bodies for the living entities to occupy. Like Vrikshan, trees, Sarispruha, reptiles, Pashun, animals, Kaga, birds, Dandashukan, snakes, like that various forms He has created for the living entity. As a conditioned souls, they occupy various these bodies. Atushta Hridaya, when Lord created all these things, Atushta Hridaya, at heart, he was not satisfied. Then Purusham Vidaya, then he created the human being. Brahma Avaloka Dishanam, by which in this human form of life, he will be able to have the darshan of the supreme absolute word. Brahma Avalokaha. Because he can understand only in human form about the Supreme Lord. Mudam Apadevaha, then Lord became pleased. So when the Lord created all these living entities, he created a donkey, he created a dog, something like that, he created a horse. Then at last he created a human being. Then everybody were given certain number of ages you live there. Right. So when the horse was created, he was given some 50 years. A donkey was given some 25 years. Some monkey, sorry, not horse, either horse or donkey is the same thing. Monkey was given some 50 years. Then last one, dog was given 50 years. And finally human being was only given 25 years. Then that donkey said, no, I cannot work for 50 years, take 25 years away from me. Then monkey said, no, I don't want 50 years, take 25 years away from me. Then the dog said, no, I don't want 50 years, take 25 years away from me. Then the human being said, along with my 25, give the other 75. 25, 25, 25. First 25 will live like a dog. Next 25 years we will work like a donkey. That next 25 years we will be like a monkey, entertaining the children at the house and taking care of everything. And the last one is, what did we quit? Monkey, donkey, dog. The last 25 years will be like a dog in the house. Anybody who is coming to the house, who is going, will be like a doorkeeper or a gatekeeper. So this is how our life is actually. Lord created for something, we took something else as our basis. The Lord became pleased only when he created this human form of life. And we are misutilizing this human form of life like any other living entity. So only by bhakti Lord becomes satisfied, not by our activities. Means activities means that activities which are not directed for the Lord. We do dana for name, fame, Lord is not satisfied. Because Krishna says, anything you do, you should do for me. Yadichesi, yadasnasi, yadjosti, yadadasi, yadtapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Krishna is saying, everything should be madarpanam, should be offered to me. So there was one devotee of Lord Ramachandra by name Jana Jashwant, an ardent devotee of the Lord. And he served his life entirely for the service of the Lord. He used to chant, sing, serve the Lord, serve the devotees. He had 5 sons and he was a millionaire. And his house was filled with all kinds of wealth, all categories of all required wealth and jewelry, and everything is there at him. And he used all his wealth in the service of sadhus and saints. He used to serve all the guests and no one went empty-handed. If somebody came to him, nobody went empty-handed. But as sons started growing up, they became evildoers and miserable. They did not even worship the Lord and they were thinking, this old man is crazy. And they had no love for giving charity. And they would think, what shall we do with him? He's gone crazy. He's simply wasting our wealth. He's destroying all our money. He's giving to all these fake people like that and all. He was thinking. They thought he was our enemy and he's ruining our business. So they were very impatient with their father's activities and wanted to complain to the king. So decided to kill their father also. So they went to the king. Our father is a complete fool. He wastes his money according to his own wish. Please call him and punish him. This is the complaint they had lodged on the king. The king was also low-minded, and he also became greedy. He also became little disturbed. So in his angry mood, without giving the matter any further thought, he asked a father to appear before him. The king said to the Jana Jashwant, "Why are you so obstinate? Why do you distribute your money to the beggars? And without informing your sons, you are taking all these decisions." So Jashwant replied, "My dear sir, this is my nature. With love for Lord Ramachandra, I pay respects to sadhus and saints." So when the king heard these words, he became even more angry. So he said to his sons, "With your consent, I'll kill your father." The sons replied, "He is not our father. He is our enemy. So put him on his body some heavy weight and throw him in the river." So some heavy bundles were tied onto his body with rocks and everything and all. And he was thrown into a pond which is full of water. But this person was not bothered. He was thinking of Lord Ramachandra. He was chanting the holy name of Lord Ramachandra. As soon as he was thrown in the water, suddenly a huge tortoise appeared. And he started lifting him from the water. And he was floating on the water. Below there was a big tortoise. And he started glorifying Lord Ramachandra, that for your kind gesture you have protected me, all these things. And the king was standing there and he is perceiving all these things and all. Seeing his sincere bhakti, immediately king jumped into the water, pulled him out and removed all the weight from him, begged forgiveness from him, fell down at his feet and requested, "Please forgive me. I have done a huge mistake." Then he even punished that evil sons. He said, "Lifetimes you are servants of this father. Such a great devotee, you are missing this opportunity. For whose purpose Lord Ramachandra is personally come to protect him. If you don't engage in his service properly, I am going to punish all of you and throw you into the water." So having accepted the command, even the sons became changed in their consciousness and they became devotees of the Lord by the constant association of the Father. See how things happen. Sometimes things are given, I may not like it, but it is for my betterment. Yesterday there was a small viral video of a 3-year-old boy. Mother took away his chocolates, it seems. He was having many chocolates. The mother took away his chocolates. He went to police station and gave a written complaint, "My mother took away my chocolates." And they also took a thing, white paper, and he signed on that. See, I'm just saying, so how, if I eat chocolate, what will happen? What is wrong if I eat too many chocolate? One thing is, my teeth will go away. Very soon, teeth will get spoiled. Digestive system will become spoiled. And too much sweet is intoxication. But to that level, that person, that boy, small kid, he is not able to understand the repercussions of eating too much chocolate. He thinks, "You are obstructing me from my enjoyment." Oh, this is the same status we are all. A 3-year-old kid or 30-year-old person. If somebody is saying, "Don't do this," means we think, who are you to stop me? I want to enjoy to myself. So that is not the system. The Shastras have given guidance how one can lead his life. Not only lead his life and make himself perfect. So if you follow as per the direction given by Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, one can go back home, back to Godhead in this very life itself. So the duties of a king has been enumerated. Further, more are there. So we'll discuss in the next session. We'll stop for any questions or doubts.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So Prabhu, in the Shastras it is mentioned that in case the rulers do not rule properly, they will have to take 1/6 of sins committed by their own citizens. So in the current scenario, specifically, there is no such post as king. We do have president, vice president, and main rulers are prime ministers and chief ministers. And we know how the society is. So sin is has become a regular life. In this scenario, who will have to take the responsibility of 1/6 sin? Chief ministers, prime minister, or
every administrative head.
Oh.
They say generally, if the administrative head is a good person, his country will be flourishing. If the administrative head doesn't take care properly, the kingdom itself will suffer. Either no rain or heavy rain, some natural calamities. All these things are symptoms that people are not doing good and the administration is not being taken care of properly. Some symptoms have been explained in Mahabharata when Bhishma Deva was discussing about how to identify Pandavas. The Pandavas were settled somewhere. So how to identify that Ajnatavasa? Because before that Ajnatavasa is finished, so if you don't identify, they win that kingdom back. So Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, Bhishma, they were all discussing. So then Bhishma Deva says, wherever there is Yudhishthira, he is rightful person, that kingdom will be flourishing. So in the last 1 year, which is that kingdom which is flourishing very nicely? So that is the kingdom of that, who is that Raja? Virata's kingdom. Even after Kichaka's death, everything is going on very nicely there. So they identify based on certain aspects. And they say, now, yes, all the Pandavas are staying in Virata's kingdom. That's why they attacked Virata's kingdom. Not that simply they come and attacked. Big strategy they did. They evaluated all the principles. So like that, various discussions are there. In the first canto also we'll see when Bhishma Deva was passing away, Yudhishthira Maharaj, when he interacted with him, all these topics were discussed. So we'll learn more about them in some other concepts. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगद्गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133107700.